welcome back guys to the channel. I know it's been a long time since the last YouTube video, but we are back. Before we move on with the video, make sure you guys click the subscribe button and leave a thumbs up. So the better response we get on these videos, the more we're gonna do in the near future. Probably covering a lot of other cars and some fields as well throughout the year. Today we're gonna focus on these two cars. We brought both the 997 turbos out. That's the 0.1 and that's the 0.2. So before I get into the main differences between the two and in terms of power, engine, gearbox and all that area, the question is why a 997? Out of all the 911 turbos, why the 997, right? So first things first, the 997, in my opinion, and a lot of other enthusiasts as well, is basically the modern classic in the current 911 lineup, all the way from the 930s. The Echoes fall under a classic category, but well, the 996, the 997, they're sort of like a modern classic. So a lot of people, including myself, I feel like this is the sweet spot between technology and feel. Right. So why the 997, right? The 997 is the sweet spot in between technology and feel. So the main two reasons why is because it still maintains the hydraulic steering in comparison to the 991, which has already moved on to electric steering. So with the hydraulic steering, you get more feel, more feedback from the road, and generally just a rawer driving experience. Not to mention the smaller, narrower body of the 997 makes it feel like a much smaller, much more compact car compared to the generation after. Now we're going to get into the differences between the 0.1 and the 0.2 turbos. Start at the back, that's the best angle of the 911 if you ask me. The tail lights would be the main difference. As you can see, these tail lights come on in almost at a 90-degree angle here, in comparison to the 997.2, where it kind of curves in and the bumper that follows the angle of the tail lights as well. That would be the easiest way to tell apart from the 0.1 to the 0.2. But with that said, a lot of them do convert the 0.1s to make it look like a 0.2. Basically, just gotta get the bumper and the tail lights to make it look like a 0.2. This particular tail lights on this car has been upgraded to an aftermarket option, because these cars, both the 0.1 and the 0.2, have this issue. As with many older cars, they tend to crack. So with these updated lights, with the LED sort of option for the 0.1s, it's less prone to cracking. Other than that, as you can see, the exhaust outlets on the 0.2 sort of curves in as well, follows the shape of the bumper, and on the 0.1 it's a bit more horizontal in shape. So other than that, there's not many telltale signs or telltale differences between the two, but the side mirrors are slightly different on it as well. As you can see, these ones, they kind of the dent on this, the curve kind of ends here, whereas with the 0.2s it comes all the way almost till the end of the side mirror. If you move on to the front, you can't really tell much between the two as well, but with a sharp eye you kind of can tell that the fins on the 0.2 is a little more pronounced compared to the 0.1. So the 0.1 also has a slightly old school headlight compared to the 0.2. As you can see here, they are like almost dual outlets on this one, well there's only one on this. Just a slightly modern feel on the 0.2 compared to the 0.1. So the wheels on the 0.1 is also quite different compared to the 0.2. I can't really give you a direct comparison between the two, because this one already has the aftermarket OC Racing wheels, but maybe we'll put in a screenshot of a regular turbo wheel so you could tell the difference. And as with this particular 0.2, it comes with the center lock option, 19-inch. So not all the cars get this option, but this one's nicely spec'd with the center lock wheels with this silver on silver color matching option. Best part about both these cars are the cup holders. Check this out. How easy and how cool it is to use it. So as for the interior, they kind of look similar, but there are some differences. The most obvious one would be the steering wheel. This is a bit more smaller in diameter, and as you can see, it's a bit dated compared to the 0.2. And of course, this one comes with the Tiptronic gearbox, so it doesn't have the PDK gear knob over here. This video is sponsored by Starbucks, or they should. Hello, review please. Oh, yeah, the review. Okay, so the steering, as you can see, this has the sport steering. It has this display here as well. 0.1 doesn't have that. The center module is slightly updated compared to the 0.1. If I'm not mistaken, this one has the Bluetooth compatibility, but not for calls. Sorry, not for music, just for calls and yeah, calls. Both these cars are optioned with the Sports Chrono Pack, so it comes with this. The PDK gear knob, as I was saying earlier, is one of the easiest way to tell between the 0.1 and the 0.2. There's also the option of specing this handbrake cover, this knob with carbon fiber options. Now let's get to the juicy bits. So the main difference between the 0.1 and the 0.2 is in the powertrain. The 0.1 comes with the 3.6 Metzger block, makes about 480 horse, compared to the 0.2, which comes updated with the brand new engine. It's no longer based on the Metzger. It's a 3.8. It's closer to what the 991 runs. Both these cars come with the variable turbine geometry. They came up with this tech where it makes the turbo spool faster at lower RPMs, so you get the response that you need. At the same time, you know, at higher speeds, at higher spool, it opens it up a bit more for top-end power. To many enthusiasts and to many hardcore Porsche customizers or people who like to mod their cars, the 0.1 is usually the weapon of choice because the Metzger block is known to handle up to like 800 to 1000 horse with stock internals. That's one of the highlights of the 0.1 engine. But not to say that the 0.2 is not made to do that as well. I mean, it also does that, but it's just that this seems to be a more favorable option in for modders and car customizers. The 0.2 comes with the updated 3.8 engine, which is what they use in the 991. Hence why I usually, when people ask me how does the 997.2 feel in comparison to the 1, I will always tell them that the 997.2 feels closer to a 991.1 instead of 997.1. You probably can't see it in the video, but sorry guys, I didn't really have much time to clean these cars. You know, because I use these cars as they are intended to be, as a 911 should be, not parked in your garage like a lil. So as we left off earlier, this particular car comes with the PDK, and this car has the option of 5-speed Tiptronic, which is what this car is optioned with, or 6-speed manual gearbox. The 0.2 has the option of the manual gearbox as well, but this particular 997.2 is spec'd with the 7-speed PDK. And also the 0.2 is the first car ever in the whole Porsche lineup to feature the 7-speed PDK gearbox. I would say that is the main difference. If you're considering between a 0.1 and 0.2, the number one thing to consider would be the gearbox and how do you like to drive your cars. You see, most guys who just read forums and read you know, regular reviews would tell you the 0.2 is the way to go. The 0.2 is the better car. But I don't think so. I don't think the 0.2 is a better car per se. It's just different. So with the PDK gearbox, of course, you get a more responsive machine, a faster 0 to 100 time, and you know, generally just a quicker and easier car to drive. You know, it's always, most times it's always in boost, and it's just made to go fast. You know, it's made to go fast. Where else in the 0.1, it requires you to do a little more hard work. You know, you gotta hold the gear in boost and rev it out a little bit more, because this comes with a 5-speed, right? The Tiptronic is a 5-speed torque converter. It kind of requires you to be on edge when you're driving, to stay in the power band sort of, in comparison to the 0.2. I can't tell you which I like more. That's why I have both. Yeah, it's something to consider before you pull your trigger on a 997. So as with the 0.1 and the Tiptronic gearbox, of course it's a little bit more sluggish compared to the PDK, but again, to enthusiasts who like to mod their cars and all that, this is a good option, because the Tiptronic gearbox is known to handle high power very well. So the PDK does an equally good job as well, handling power and performance. I think the main reason why people like to mod the 0.1 is also the price factor. You know, PDK gearbox isn't exactly cheap to replace if anything goes wrong, and also it being a dual clutch, when you're pushing, you know, above a certain horsepower range, it's advisable to change to heavy duty clutches and so on. For the regular guy who just wants to use a 911 in its stock form, drive it on the weekends, you know, wants more usability out of the cars, the 0.2 would be a better option. Another thing to consider would be the PDK also has the launch control option, whereas the 0.1 with the Tiptronic does not. So what the launch control does is it holds the RPM at a certain range, and as soon as you let go of the brakes, it shoots you into the distance, you know, at light speed almost. Another thing to consider between the two cars is the price difference. You could get a 997.1 turbo in the current market anywhere between 300 to 400 ringgit Malaysia. Well, you could get a 0.2 right now in the current market for about anywhere between 450 to about 550, depending on the spec, depending on the condition, and of course the options that come with the car. In terms of investment, which of the two is a better value proposition? So in my opinion, I think both these cars are investments in their own right. Of course, the 0.2 is more popular option currently in the market, you know, it being a PDK, much more driver friendly car, I would say, and it's more modern compared to the 0.1. With that said, considering the price difference, I would say the 0.1 is a good investment as well. If money is not a problem, go for the 0.2, I would say. It's already at a high price range, but in the years to come, I only think it's going to go further up in value. If you do not have the funds for the 0.2, the 0.1 is a good option as well. Modern classic like this, it being more analog, it being more driver-centric, and not just focused on the speed alone, would really hold value in the years to come. That's my opinion. Whatever it is, that's a 911 for everyone, and the 997 may be the one for you.